Achoo! Achoo! It's springtime. It's time for those outdoor hazards and outdoor activities to gear up. I hope we can learn a few things in the next few slides. Most common poisonous plants throughout the United States are poison ivy, poison sumac, and poison oak. I can feel those sneeze attacks coming on. Saturday, I was helping my son cut some trees out of the fence line after a recent storm, and I started sneezing. Now, I'd already taken my allergy pills, and I knew that I was close to poison ivy or some type of oak. And sure enough, when we went on that other side of the tree, we taught my grandson that leaves a three, let it be. And sure enough, there's poison ivy growing up it. People have different sensitivities to these poisonous plants, and sometimes you can get it just by being close to it. All it takes is one drop of ursha oil to start the infection going across your body and start scratching. You can pick it up from dogs. You can pick it up from other towels. It's very contagious and will continue to just spread on certain people. Treatments may vary. Sometimes you have to go to the doctor and get shots or take pills or whatever would work effectively with your body. Giant hogweed is a common plant in Indiana and especially in the northern part. This stuff is nasty. It can cause rashes, and you can see in this PowerPoint program what effect it can have on the body. There have been deaths and amputations from this, although those are rare, but it can be pretty severe if it's left untreated. The stinging nettle is another common plant in Indiana, and it stings and it burns. It is edible, and not many people eat it, I don't think, as a delicacy dish, but it is edible. My boss, John Elkins, had a recent run in with that over the weekend, and he got into it out at his place, and he and Beth were out doing some work, and he said it burns, it stings, and it burns. This is my granddaughter Addison, and you can see two different slides there. One she's running cross country, the other one she's playing softball game. Oh, those were the good old days of about 6 weeks ago. But we want to make sure that we keep our kids properly hydrated, and life will return to normal here before long, and your kids will be playing a lot of games and such. And the other day I took her out and we practiced, and just a little bit of time that she's been off, she's out of shape. And so the kids are going to be getting back into ball shape or running shape or whatever. Make sure you keep them properly hydrated. You are what you eat. Melons and fruits and vegetables, light lunches during these marathon games or these marathon runs are always good things for nutrition and keep them properly hydrated and keep them where they are healthy and strong and can endure the runs or the marathon ball games that they may have. Keep them safe. Some ways to prevent and treat heat stresses would be to always properly give ourselves the proper fluids, and we want to make sure we have the proper amount of electrolytes in our body. A good way to help prevent this stuff from happening would be to have Gatorade or Powerade or the drink of your choice. 2 waters to 1 Gatorade is usually a good rule of thumb to help prevent this from happening. If someone does go into these heat stresses, best way to cool them down is put water on the wrist, water on the neck, water in the groin area, water under the armpits. Maybe you just need to go ahead and drench them in water, put them in a cool shower, anything to get them cooled down. May need a trip to the emergency room, to the doctor, may need the EMTs to come out there. Most of the time, giving them some water is a good thing, but if they're in heat stroke, that may not be the best thing. They may need IVs. We want everyone to drive safely out there on the highways, and it's going to get crazy, and a lot of people's going to be itchy to get back on the roads before long. So make sure we just do the fundamental things. Make sure we buckle up. Make sure everyone is buckled up. Don't text and drive. Have your route planned Know where you're going to go, know where you're going to get off at, know the destination that you want to arrive at safely. Take care of yourself and take care of your family. I hate snakes. Personally, I absolutely hate those critters. I have been snake bit before. I've had to take the antivenom. It is not a fun thing to do. Trust me. The best treatment you can do is probably have the car keys ready to go and get them to the emergency room. You may need to take the antivenom. It may be a necessary thing for you to do to survive that snake bite. Um, Today's treatment really recommends that you don't do anything other than get them to the emergency room. In the old days, they recommended to put cool rags on you or get it elevated or whatever. But today's treatment really recommends and stresses just get them to the emergency room as quick as you can and then let them use the appropriate antivenom on that person. Some of the most common culprits we have to deal with are the copperheads, moccasins, and rattlesnakes. Some of the coral snakes we may run into in various parts of the country. A good rule of thumb, I got this from my old friend Corey Parr many years ago. Red touch black, friend of Jack. Red touch yellow will kill a fella. So where you can see the yellow and the red and the yellow and the black, well, there you go. That kind of describes everything we need to know about those culprits. There are some people I'd like to check for ticks, but most of you I don't want to. So I'm going to leave that up to you. But once you've been in the woods, make sure you check yourself for ticks. Deer is the main carrier of them, and we all know that we get them when we're going through the woods. So check yourself when you come out. You can get them from your pets as well. So check your pets once they've been out in the woods. Watch out for those bees, wasps, and yellow jackets. They can sting and they can hurt. Some people are highly allergic to them, and you may need to take the EpiPen or other types of shots and things of that nature. Make sure you know where all that stuff is if someone does need to use it. A little more on treatment with wasp stings, bee stings, and yellow jacket stings is that sometimes folks may just need to take Benadryl. Sometimes they have that readily available. It's always good to know what your coworker is allergic to and what kind of treatment is needed for that person. Again, emergency room may be the best thing, or calling the EMTs. You may be able to remove the stinger with tweezers or credit card. Sometimes topical treatments are sufficient. I'm going to close on a more personal note. This is the tire that was on my son's expedition, and he had just sent his wife over to the Ford dealership to have the oil changed and serviced and get it ready to go, take a trip to Oklahoma. When we come back from Oklahoma over Christmas, we were heading down to a track meet in Birmingham, and low tire light came on. Luckily, that's all that happened. Both rear tires were exactly like this. That is very disturbing to me that we take it to an oil change place. They do the service check on there and they say the vehicle is okay. Kendall was extremely busy at that point in time in his life, trying to close out the year and getting cabinets installed, running his daughter around to pitch and practice into track meets and such of that nature, getting ready to go hunting on a hunting trip, and took my breath away and made sure that I take time to go ahead and check my kids' vehicles over extensively. They have their way of doing it, and then there's the Chuck Tiemann way of doing it. And I know I got a lot of my dad in me, but that comes out in me, and I do not like bad tires on the ground. Take time to check your wife's vehicle over and make sure they're safe. They could be my grandkids out there on the road, so take care of them. Thank you, and have a safe day.